Welcome to another episode of Cabernet and Pray, where we sip the wine and we stir the faith. And today we've got an episode that I think is a first. And it's the first time we ever talked about a book based on a video game. So this is going to be maybe a challenge for you if you don't consider yourself a video game player. But I hope you go into it with an open mind, because this is a fascinating conversation about not only the role of video games, but the role of story and empathy and ethics. And we get into all of that on today's episode. We're talking with Matthew DiStefano. He's an award-winning author, best known for The Wisdom of Hobbits and Mimetic Theory and Middle-earth. He's a co-host of the popular Heretic Happy Hour podcast. He's a co-owner of Choir Publishing and the owner of Happy Woods Farm, a small permaculture farm nestled in the Sierra Nevada foothills of California. Matthew's work explores spirituality, theology, philosophy, politics, and culture, and his writing has been featured in Sojourners, Pathos, and beyond. He's a graduate of Chico State University, and when he's not writing, farming, or playing The Last of Us, he enjoys spending time with his wife and his daughter. This is episode 74, Saints, Sinners, and Clickers.
I've never shared this with anybody publicly.
If this was SportsCenter, that would be like such a hot take. Skip Bayless would have no idea. Stephen A. Smith would have no idea what to say if you drop that down. That is so good.
The joke I always say is like, how'd you learn so much? You got to drink a lot.
The power of food and beverage to lubricate an environment.
Resistance to change is hurting the church.
I'm not in the camp that God has a penis or a vagina or a body at all. I'm in the camp that God is a universal spirit.
This is the strangest podcast that I have been on. I don't even know what to do.
I'm kind of geeked up about this wine.
So this is my second glass, and it delivers a little more of a punch than I expected. So if I get a little loopy, it's your fault. You told me to drink it on the show.
I will also say, as a confession, I am a lightweight. So I've had like 3 sips of this wine and I'm already feeling it. So this is fun.
You've uncovered the mystery. You've exposed the formula.
You've just duct taped together a number of things that aren't normally hanging out together, and I'm here for it.
We're going to sit down at a table, we're going to have a glass of wine and some food, and we're going to talk about the beauty of Jesus.
Thanks for what you're doing with this podcast and for the creative way you're doing it and the beautiful, positive spirit in which you're doing it.
I really appreciate this venue, what you're doing. It is fun, and yet you dig into the deep stuff.
I've heard about your podcast for a long time, and I love that you're a pastor and that you explore the world of faith through wine. That's very unique.
I never thought of church history in terms of wine drinkers. I love this question. Really got my mind rolling.
You had me with herbaceous notes, I want you to know. I'm ready to just stay here and live in the wine tour.
I will never forget the first time I bought a bottle of wine by myself, which was yesterday.
If you're familiar with drunk history, I thought it's like drunk theology. So I
got a little spicy there. It's the peach wine.
Apparently the wine is, here we are. Queer we are. Beer we are. No, it's wine, Jeremy.
By the way, drinking this Pinot Grigio at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is making me even more direct in my communication than I normally would be.
I know why you have your guests drink wine. It makes sense now. Yeah, I get it. A little bit of liquid courage to really unleash the beast.
I think you've got a good podcast. So throw in the wine bit in there. That's nice, doesn't it? Cabernet and Pray, yeah.
Well, some people play video games and some people write books. And today's guest writes books about playing video games. So welcome to the podcast, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Cheers. It's the tin cup because I'm in the process of, like I was saying off the air, things are in boxes still moving across town. So, I'm not.
Maybe that
my
tin
grandmother
cup is
my grandmother would be rolling in her grave right now.
For those of you only listening on audio, he's got a less traditional glass to enjoy his wine today. So let's talk about what we're drinking. I am rocking the traditional glass for our episode.
There you go.
I have got a 2015 Contino Rioja Gran Reserva. It's a Tempranillo blend from Spain. And the Gran Reserva is like That's the big boy, which means it's aged longer. So this can be aged about, I think it's 4 years, no, 2 years in oak, and then up to 4 years in the bottle, which just allows a lot of the other flavors to emerge that, you know, if you don't have the time or the money, you don't get to enjoy all those. But this thing is banging. I'm getting tobacco, cedar, cherry, vanilla. I am loving all of this. So that's what I'm enjoying. Matt, what are you enjoying in your metal tin?
Well, first of all, you know a lot more about wine than I do. And I love that you are able to pick up on all that kind of stuff. I have there's a local winery that I guess they're like a farmer's market neighbor, because I do a lot of farmer's market stuff at La Roca Vineyards. And I'm drinking one of their Merlots. I normally like, I think my favorite red wine is Old Vine Zinfandel, but Merlot's okay. I like, it's dry. I don't like the sweet wines, so I like the dry wines. Not as dry as my grandmother used to drink, but yeah, I like it. I don't drink much at all anymore, but I don't drink a lot of red wine, but I do like it.
So you've referenced your grandma a couple times. Was she a total wino, or what was the deal?
Oh, she was a Sicilian woman. So there was wine with every meal, for sure. Yeah, every meal, a glass of wine. And, you know, not every meal, but maybe on the weekends, her drink was it was a gin martini up with 2 olives. Just gin and vermouth and 2 olives. Fucking, it's jet fuel.
It sounds like I had a grandma that would roll her own cigarettes and then would drink hard alcohol. And I remember as a kid, I didn't fully appreciate what that meant, but I kind of knew, like, grandma's kind of a badass, you know?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, wow, grandma, that's hardcore. So cheers to the grandmas out there that are
shout out to the grandmas
laying it down for us.
That's right. Yeah.
I love it. Okay, before we get into your latest book, one of the questions I love to ask guests, just to give listeners a chance to have some context for you, for your story, and for how all of this evolves, and we're all works in progress. If you were to look at the last 10 years of your faith journey and your experiences with God, the way it all makes sense to you, how would you describe, how have things changed in that time, in the last 10 years?
Oh, wow. I've gotten, well, I feel like, it has changed a lot. Maybe not my theology per se, or my view of the Bible or something. But I've almost come full circle to where I like to have conversations about Jesus again. Cause I was on this big kick about, like, we all just need to shut up about Jesus because none of us are doing what he asked us to do. So until we do that, why are we even talking about it? And so that was very much where I was at for a long time. But I feel like with so much hijacking politically of Jesus as a person, and him being used as a mascot and a prop, and this kind of performative television Jesus stuff, I feel like it is important to talk about him and what he actually stood for. And so I feel like I'm back in the headspace of wanting to engage those conversations, because there was a long time where I wasn't. Like if you just look at my bibliography of the books I've written, like, they were heavy theology, heavy anthropology, and then it went like, and anthropology, I mean, like, and how it related to the Bible, and then it went into, like, I wrote books about Tolkien. Now I'm writing a book about The Last of Us. I was like, I want nothing to do with traditional theology. Y'all are exhausting. And now it's like, well, with so much talk in the political sphere about what Jesus would do, and all these Christians basically, like, trotting out there and telling us how Christian they are, it's like, wait a second, but he said to pray in silent. Why are we doing prayer in schools? He said, like, let's actually talk about the difference between what they want and what Jesus actually told us to do. So I'm kind of in that space now where it's like, not that Jesus needs defending, but I feel like he needs people to talk on his behalf in a way, like, it's like, wait, but he gave us this precedent. We need to carry that tradition, not whatever this fascistic, culty manifestation of Jesus is, because it's not even Jesus, it's actually antithetical.
Yeah, I have, numerous people who, when I say stuff in church, like, hey, why are you getting political? We never used to be political. And I've tried to explain to people, well, it never used to be as blatant where our government is using spiritual language to defend the craziness of what they're doing. So when they are using the language that they're using, it's absolutely being hijacked. So then you have to give a counterpoint to that, which then, the Christians sound political, but it's like, that's because the politics are hijacking all of this language. And, as we record this episode, we're in the week where we're reading the Bible performatively. And I just watched a clip of our president read the Bible. And I'm like, what's so sad to me is there will be many Christians who will be like, see, this is the most Christian, government we've ever seen. And will completely miss the point that you're saying of like, this is actually nothing like Jesus.
Yeah. And this isn't like my new progressivism. This is like, I'm tapping into what I grew up being told and believing. Like, even if they were right, they're not. I'm not going on record to say that the administration has anything to do with Jesus. But even if they were, it's still supposed to be done silently, quiet. You have a reverence for your faith. Like, it's the quiet acts of helping the poor, of helping those in your community. All of this on TV stuff, doesn't it really have the vibe of like grifty televangelists? And it's like, lo and behold, that's who their spiritual advisors are. But what I don't, and there's always going to be those grifters, but what I don't quite understand still yet today is the people who live their Christian faith a certain way, and they thought those televangelists were insane. They thought they were grifters, and now they're almost like, it's almost like an apologetics for them. It's like, how are we not talking about, like, we knew Paula White Cain was nuts 20 years ago, I thought. Like, now all of a sudden it's okay. Like, this, like, just sow your $1,000 seed money, do this. We all thought, like, in my churches, we were like, no, that's not what the gospel is supposed to be. And now it's like, and that's blasphemy almost. It's like using the name of Jesus to make yourself rich. Like, what worse can you do? Like, now it's just like, oh, well, okay, this is a sign that it's Christian. In what way?
Yeah.
In what way is it like Matthew 5? In what way does it line up with the Beatitudes? In what way does it line up with the fruit of the Spirit that Paul talked about? In what way? Please write me an essay. I will. If it's good, I'll put it as a guest contribution on any of the places that I publish for.
Well,
I
and,
challenge.
I dare you. John Fugelsang, who we both are connected with, his whole thing of like, give me one thing that MAGA talks about that's actually a teaching of Jesus, like a teaching of Jesus, right? And it's like, it's not. None of this stuff is. And I love that you said God doesn't need to be defended, because I completely agree. And I think the difference is, it's not that we're trying to defend God in this season, but it's almost like you're trying to appeal to all the people who are being duped, I guess, and you're like, hey, this isn't it, so it's like, you used to be able to know this wasn't it, and now you don't seem able to know this isn't it.
Yeah, and it's almost like they got caught in the MLM, and you're like, but we all knew to look out for the MLMs, and now you're in one, bro. Like,
you're in the down line. Do you not see the
you're
pyramid?
In the down line, and you're down a ways, so you're not going to be that guy who's making that money.
You're way on the down line.
Yeah,
but yeah, they're like, no, I'm in it, man. I'm going to get more people in underneath me, and
yeah.
Oh yeah, that's great. This is a giant MLM.
It's a giant MLM. It's a pyramid scheme. There's nothing there for them at the end of it.
Oh, that's amazing.
At least with some MLMs, you can sell products, I suppose, right? I don't love the structure, but this is more of a pyramid scheme where it's like, it's funny money. It doesn't exist.
Well, it's a Ponzi scheme, right? There's nothing
Ponzi.
there.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing there. It's made off.
Well, I mean, literally, yeah. I mean, that is, I think, the thing. And I don't even, it obviously began where I think progressive Christians saw it first. Now I think we're in the stage where there's more and more people that would not label themselves progressive, but are like, yeah, this is, confusing. It's like the guy is just making stuff up. Like, he sells his own Bible. He sells his own cryptocurrency. Like, I'm going to manufacture the most random crazy shit, and then people are like, I have to have this. And even like his Bible, I'm like, I don't know how I would handle it if I ever saw someone like in the wild, if I saw someone bring that to church, how I would like be so triggered by that, you know?
There's all these moments where you're like, okay, this is going to be the one where he loses the purity culture, the Christian, the devout, you know. It's not when he signed the Bibles. It's not when he put the lyrics to a song in the Bible and the Constitution. I don't think Revelation is talking about the Bible when it says do not add or delete from the words of this book, because the Bible as it's currently formed didn't even exist when that, right. So, but they believe that. But they believe that. And yet you think it's just what? Like, it's just Trump saying it like it is. No, he's are you okay with that? Like when someone like, I don't know, Joe Biden or something did something, he didn't do it like in the name of Jesus. Like it's like if I have a complaint about any politician that's just doing shitty things. Am I allowed to cuss on the show? Yeah. Then I get to point to that politician and say, I disagree with that. At least they're not generally doing it in the name of Jesus. Like the Trump thing is like, you're desecrating your faith for this guy for the next 1,000 years or whatever. Like it seems like you take this a little more seriously. Right?
Well, I wrote a blog post in 2016 that was basically, you know, an appeal to Christians who supported Trump. And my whole point of that post was, I don't care if you vote for him because you think that there's good reasons to, that's fine. But please don't vote for him because you think he's the Christian candidate, right? And that was the language I was hearing. It's like, he's not. So if you vote for him, let it be for other reasons, not for that. And I got all this reaction. People were like, well, are you going to say the same thing? You write a post about Hillary? It's like, no one is saying Hillary is a Christian candidate. That's the difference you're not realizing. Yeah. Nobody said that, right? Right. So when you have this is a Christian thing, then it's like those of us are like, yeah, we're actually following Jesus and that ain't it. We do feel the need to like, hey guys, this isn't, he's just using that word. Like it doesn't mean that.
Yeah. I totally agree.
So all that to say, you're back into theology. Welcome.
Well, maybe I got a toe in there. Maybe, I mean, I do talk about theology, like even in a book about video games. Of course, I have to talk about theology when I'm reading Tolkien. He was a devout Catholic, right? So, but yeah, as far as like maybe the more nuts and bolts about theology, I mean, see, I don't think we can be completely atheological or apolitical. Like I think even not being political is itself a political statement. Like it itself is a political stance. Like it's having the political privilege to have that view and to have that belief, because not everyone has that privilege. Generally,
it comes from a posture, that allows
generally
it.
Based on the color of your skin, your sexuality, your gender, whatever, right? And so when you're not political, okay, well, good for you. Whether you're political or not, gas prices are gas prices, right? Like. Tariffs are tariffs, right? Like wars are wars.
Okay, so as an author, writing books that were more in that lane and then writing books that were more in a different lane, obviously you're the same person. All right, I mean, you're growing, but you fundamentally are you. Yeah. What's that experience been like? Is it totally different writing the Tolkien books and the video game books, or do you feel like it's similar?
I was more nervous about the Tolkien book, the first one especially. Because I was like, well, what can I write about when it comes to Tolkien? There are literally like graduate, advanced level degrees that you can get in Tolkien studies. Like, and then I laughed at myself and I was like, but I've written like 8 books at this point on God.
You can also get degrees on that. Yeah.
Right. A couple. There's a few options out there. So I actually felt more nervous about that. Just, I don't know why. Like when I published my first theology book, it was with Whiffenstock and I was just excited to be published. But I never had like, oh, I don't know if anyone's going to read this. I was like, I just want to publish a book. It just happens to be about theology but the writing, I think it's a similar process, right? It's like, it's all exegesis and hermeneutics. How are you interpreting this? And what are your grids and lenses? you've got JD Vance, who claims to be a Tolkien fan, and then Peter Thiel, who names his company after Palantir, which is probably what you shouldn't name your company after if you're trying to be good. And you've got people like me who approach Tolkien and come away from it as far as Richard Rohr is from Kenneth Copeland, and they're both Christian, right? Like, it's like, oh my God. Like, so it is really, but it's the same text. It's the same set of books. It's the same movie. It's the same video game. What's the difference? The observer. What's the difference? It's the person who's interpreting the text and the media in front of you.
I've loved like watching Stephen Colbert talk about Tolkien, and that's when you realize this is Bible level nerdery happening.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And even some of Tolkien's texts read like ancient Bible stories. Like, I got to get out of genealogy. I got to get out of outline. I got to write these names down. It's like, oh my goodness.
I love it. Okay, so you've been on a journey. You've written about different things. The latest one is about a video game. So not a ton of books about video games. Why was that where you felt like that was the next project you wanted to work on?
It was one of I don't know what it is for you on your process of, I have sometimes it's like you have different motivations to writing different things or to do certain projects. Sometimes it's like, I mean, I own a publishing company, but if a major publishing company wanted to give me like $100,000 advance to write my deconstruction story or something, I don't necessarily. That's not.
When do you need it?
Yeah, I'll be like that Kermit the Frog meme. Like, I'll write it. Trust me. And if you need it in a week, I could probably do something. And then there's the projects where it's like it just, I don't know where our thoughts come from. I don't know where our motivations come from a lot of things. It's just like all of a sudden it just clicks like, oh, that has to be my next book. Like, it has to be. And then for me, it was like a title, really. It was Saints, Sinners, and Clickers. I thought that was a really cool title. And for those that don't know, a clicker is a type of zombie. I put them in scare quotes because they're not really zombies, but they're kind of like zombies. So I just love the sound of that. And because it fits with the title, are any of us saints? Are any of us sinners? Maybe it's all the above. So it becomes ambiguous. Like, who's the good guy and who's the bad guy here? We don't really know. So I just I have to write that book. So that's what it was for like the Tolkien stuff. And for this, it's like just kind of like tuning yourself to how you're feeling, what you're observing, what you're passionate about in the moment. I think, and when those ideas come to you, pouncing on them if you're able to.
I love that. It is often the creative process feels like something you're chasing that you have to go after it, and it's like I just have to follow this.
Yeah, and oftentimes you have to let it come to you too. Like, you have to be willing to say like right now after this book comes out, I told Keith, my business partner, the other day, I was like, I don't think I have another book right now. Like, I don't have a book. I'm gonna co-write. Keith and I have a book that we're gonna co-write, but I don't have a book. And I was like, to me that, and I've had this desire to write a story. I want to write a fiction. So I was like, okay, now is the time to do that. I don't need to publish a book right now. And I know fiction, it can take a long time, a lot longer than nonfiction, I feel like, at least the nonfiction I write. So I'm going to develop that story, but that's just me like being okay with, I don't know. Like, I don't know where this next project's going to come from, and I'm okay with that.
Okay, you wrote this. The Last of Us may be the most philosophically sophisticated narrative in video game history. It's a hell of a statement there. What is it about that game that captured your imagination?
I think how like I've always gone to video game, and I don't say this as like I'm not like a deep dive nerd. Like, there could be like video game nerds out there. I'm a nerd in many different ways. So, but I'm a like I wouldn't even call myself a gamer, but I play video games, if that makes sense, right? Like, but I'm not like a hardcore gamer that has to get all the titles that come out and do all that. For me, what hit me was I generally approach video games as kind of an escapist sort of thing. Like, I want to put myself in another world and escape from reality, and I want to go play Skyrim or Oblivion and be in fantasy, or I want to be in Red Dead Redemption and ride horses and, you know, get in
Such a
shootouts
great
with people.
game.
Dude, it's so good. And that one, that used to be my favorite story, and it still is right there. It's like 1A and 1B.
Oh, that one is so good. Yeah.
There's something about how brutally honest The Last of Us is. And I know others are. Red Dead is brutally honest too. I think for me, being a father of a teenage daughter, there's so much of that context in The Last of Us. And so again, me bringing my grid and filter into that story, I think just enhances it in such a way that's different than other stories, because, you know, I can see myself in Joel Miller, the main character. I can see my daughter in, you know, I don't want to, I'm trying not to give spoilers away, but in Ellie, the other main character, you know, his surrogate daughter, and Joel goes through a hell of a tragic. That's the first 15 minutes of the video game will rip your heart out through your chest before you even learn the mechanics. Like, and so that to me struck so deeply in wrestling with that and what that would look like, and like, and to just have so much empathy for the characters when the entire world, not only like the zombie apocalypse is the backdrop to this very human father losing everything. And so, like, I'm not a horror fan necessarily. I'm not like I liked Shaun of the Dead and I like, you know, 28 Days Later, but I'm not like a zombie nerd. But it was that human, like, you're playing a video game to escape, and now I gotta I gotta ask some deeply philosophical questions within 5 seconds of this game. Like, how dare you? But then you can't put the controller down because it's so fun. It's such a good game. Like, just from a gaming standpoint, it's super fun. And then the story keeps drawing you in and drawing you in. You're like, oh my God, this is who we are. It doesn't take a zombie apocalypse. It just, in this world, it takes a breakout, an outbreak of a fungus to get us to see who we've always been, and how real The Last of Us is I think it's just on another level.
Is this a game? I mean, can you replay this game, or it's like it's a story you play it one through?
Well, okay. I've replayed number one like 5, 6, 7 times.
Wow.
And I've only played number 2 twice, and I've watched a playthrough, and I've done a lot of research and watched, you know, I've read. There is another book on The Last of Us. But part 2 is part 1 is like the depths you would go for someone you love. And part 2 is like the depths you would go to seek retribution. And that's a whole different one. That one's way heavy. And that was part of the controversy of like everyone loved. I mean, it was like unanimous. Part 1, everyone loved. Part 2, it's like there's a lot of us who loved it, and there's a lot of people who could not handle it. Now, which I think is part of the brilliance of it. It's like, oh, we're going to go even deeper and darker because that's where humanity can be found. And like, that's where some people are. That's where some of us have been. And where does that lead our characters? And it's so that one's super heavy. They have some sort of like, you could just play levels and you could do this kind of thing in part 2. But as far as playing the story, I don't know how many times I'll play that one through. if I'll ever play it again, maybe.
That's so interesting.
Maybe.
You know, I'm thinking about, I was driving my daughter, picking her up from dance or something the other day, and we started talking about like ethical dilemmas.
Oh, a fellow dance dad.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you're always driving if you're
always
a dance
doing
dad.
Something. Always.
And we were talking about ethical. I don't know how we got into this, but you know, the idea of, you know, she was asking something about, she's working through some ethical idea. And so I was like, all right, you know, what if you had to kill a child in order to save 100 other people? Like, what do you think about that? And, you know, getting her to like wrestle with these ideas, and, you know, she was like, do I have to kill the child, or like I just know the child's going to die, you know? And it's like, you start to realize like this brings out raw aspects of humanity, of like, what would you do? And, you know, then she was asking me like, well, Dad, how would you do this? And I said, you know, it's really hard when we're sitting here driving in a car to really say what we would do, right? We can say what
Exactly.
we'd want to be true, but I said, I don't think until you're there, you really know what you would do.
Yep.
It seems like games like this are about as close as you can get without really being in it to kind of figure out like that reaction you're saying of like, what would I do?
Yeah.
And it's almost like, I remember like, my son just recently finished Breaking Bad. And so he got into all that and he was like, Dad, you're rooting for the bad guy. And I was like, isn't it interesting how that brings out these complicated feelings that are there? And then you're like, should I feel what I feel? So it's like, is this what this game does? Is like, does it cause you to like face these raw aspects of your humanity?
Yeah. And you're like, why am I like, you're only rooting for this one person because of the context. And I like that you had that conversation. You pointed it out with your daughter. And I state something very similar in the book. Like often like our morals and our moral system is a matter of, how did I say, I don't know exactly how I said it, but, that it's less about our convictions and more about our context. It seems like, what would I do if I were hungry? Well, I don't know. I'm not hungry.
Right.
And if I'm hungry, I'm not hungry. Like hungry. Like I don't know where my next meal is coming from, right? Like, and how would I decide in those moments? I can speculate, but I also speculate through this idea that Matthew DiStefano is some noble, other-oriented, Jesus-following sort of fucking hippie. But I haven't lost what Joel loses in the game. I haven't lost my entire humanity. I haven't been pushed to the brink of survival. And what decisions are you going to make in light of that? So this game does that, I think, and more. I think it takes you to places where you don't want to go and hopefully don't have to go. But I almost said it's fun to wrestle with. It's not fun to wrestle, but I think it's necessary to wrestle with it so that we can have an understanding of what I think ultimately, hopefully, to lead us to more empathy, not to write off the decisions people make, but to understand them better.
Yeah, it reminded me. I remember reading the Gulag Archipelago. I don't know if you've read that, and it just wrecked me and like put me in a funk for a while because that isn't fiction. That's what humanity has actually done to one another.
Actually done.
And I remember just like, kind of wishing I had never read it. Like, I felt that with the novel Silence as well. Like, I kind of wish I never read this because it's like I lost some innocent part of me died, and I read those. Yeah. But then kind of what you're saying is I had this reality of like, but that's real life. Like that's what people have had to go through. And so I guess it makes me wonder, do you think we can prepare ourselves? Like when you say like, hey, this is who I would be, we obviously don't know, but can you do anything now to make the person you want to be in that moment more likely to be the person you would actually be?
Oh, sure. I think the more you wrestle with that question of like, who am I as a human being in relation to other human beings? I think the more we take seriously the plight of others and those in our community and enriching their lives and being like, I mean, it's simple, but like when I'm gone, I want the world to at least be better than when I got here in my own way. I can't control the world, but because I was here, I want things to be better than when I wasn't here. I want to improve that. I want to improve the community in some kind of way. And whether the community is your local community, online communities, whatever it is. So that when we come face to face with those, life situations, we'll at least have ran through it in our mind and I mean, it's better to be prepared that way and not have ever experienced it than just like, oh, well, I think I'll do this and then never have any practice. Like it's like expecting to look at a piano and be able to play, Vivaldi or Chopin next week or something. Like spirituality and ethics and all these things are like, I mean, they're disciplines in a way, and they're how people navigate the world, and then we think we can't practice them. We can't, like, but it takes 10,000 hours to be a master at something, right? Like, you pick up your guitar, it's going to take 10,000 hours to be a master at it. We have to master some sort of spiritual discipline. Doesn't mean you have to go to church or anything. Doesn't mean you have to pray or anything like that. But like, maybe your walks in nature are prayer. Maybe feeding the person on the corner without thinking about like a copay, or if he's going to use your money for drugs or something, that's practice. That's all those things are spiritual practices, I think.
Yeah, I love that idea. And I think, if someone's listening to this and they're like, well, I don't play video games, it might be easy kind of dismiss this whole thing of like, that's, for other people. I think the reality, though, it's kind of, I would say, because I would describe myself as very similar to you as a gamer, where it's like, I'm not the diehard, but I do love it. And it is very relaxing, very entertaining. I love the way it ignites my imagination. Yeah. But I kind of compare it to, when I read a good biography, right? You get to see someone's life in its entirety, and it gives you a perspective. Like when you finish it, you're kind of like, I got to go with you on your whole journey, and I got to see the impact of the decisions you made in your life. And it gives you like a different perspective. Like, what am I doing with mine? Of like, hey, this is a finite thing I've got. I'm in the middle of mine, or wherever you're at. I got to read someone's whole, trajectory. And I think video games, these story video games, allow you to kind of experience. It's almost like, good fiction creates empathy in you, I believe. Mm-hmm. And so does a story video game, where you have to then, it's not just you're reading a good fictional story, but like you get to, depending on the game, participate in it somehow.
Yeah.
What would you say to someone who's listening to this that maybe is not either a gamer or is kind of like, yeah, I've never really done it? Like, how have you seen the power of these kind of stories and the way this builds empathy in a unique way?
I just think it's more intimate. Like in this story, it's linear. The story's the story. Whereas in Red Dead Redemption 2, yes, there's like an arc, but you also get to go outside of it and make your own decisions, and you get to sometimes choose to do one thing or the other. It doesn't ultimately, I think, impact the main arc necessarily, in subtle ways. This one is more linear, and it's just so intimate. Like a movie could be an hour and a half or 2 hours, or if it's Lord of the Rings, it's 12 hours divided.
The extended cut.
Yeah, the extended versions, which still don't include the Scouring of the Shire, but that's a different conversation. But a video game, you might spend 20, 30, 40 hours with this character. It's more like a book, like a novel. Like you're reading, it might take you a couple weeks to read through a long novel or something. So and video games are just so well done in terms of like, I think Last of Us does a great job where like there's gameplay and then there's great cutscenes, and then it's like you could take all the cutscenes. Yeah, I think people have done this, they had to have, and put them on YouTube, and it's like a 7-hour movie, right? Like, so you're talking about something that's 3 to 4 times the length of a movie. And these movies, we care about these characters. If you any of your favorite movies where you really care about the character, I don't know, like The Martian, you really want him to get off the planet. Like, are they going to save him? Like, and it's just this one guy that you're rooting for. And it's like, imagine spending 20 hours on screen with someone. And not only that, but you're controlling them. You're clicking the buttons, and then they're doing the action. And yeah, your hands are forced in a way in many video games, but you're still participating. The Last of Us is like, it like destroys the Manichean hero though. Like you're complicit in like killing like, and in part 2, the NPCs have names. Like you kill one of them and they're like, hey Adam, where like they have names. And so you're like,
oh geez.
If they have names, they have families. Like if they have names, they have whatever, And so it's like, oh, and I'm complicit in that. I'm clicking the buttons.
This is like empathy on steroids, really, as I'm thinking about it, of like, what a great tool to help people develop a skill that is desperately needed, especially in an era where we talk about toxic empathy,
Well, who's talking about toxic empathy? Allie Beth Stuckey, or who's that?
Yeah.
I feel like some people talk about empathy. They say toxic empathy anytime you have empathy.
Well, it's empathy for the people they don't want you to have empathy about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned. You mentioned Joel in this. Is that the character you most resonate with, or is there someone that you really found yourself diving into?
I mean, at first, yeah, because he's like the father figure and he has to lead Ellie across the United States to where they're going. Yeah, so that's kind of like you're playing as that character. And so I'm a father, I have a teenage daughter, and she's kind of crass and like makes jokes with him, and my daughter and I can be that way too. Like, so that dynamic was an obvious one for me. But I really do resonate with Ellie and my I don't resonate with her as far as like because I feel like I'm like her, but it's more like I feel like I see Ellie as a daughter type. And so in part 2, when her story gets super dark, like it's like that's what was so difficult for me to play, because you're playing as her too, and you're also playing as basically her enemy as well. And that's another thing it forces you to watch horrible things and then hate a person, and then you play as them, and you're like, this game, like I don't think a game has done that where you're like, without giving spoilers, like you witness things go on and you're like, I hate this person, like I hate them, and then like the next cutscene happens and then you're like,
you're them.
And so there's like these videos of them like running off the cliff over and over, and like it's but then you play it, and then by the end of that you develop empathy for her too. And I like that my friend Lauren Sabini is an author. She wrote the foreword, and she really resonates with that character that the game forces you to hate. And so we've had really good conversations about like how that works, why that works. And I think they took a big risk in doing that, but they pulled it off, because you really see and you sit back and you say, yeah, I'm really rooting for these people based on my context. If I had a different context, I might hate these people. I might despise these people.
That's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
So
but again, not what you normally jump into for a video game. Like you normally don't think, I want to get really heady about this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think about like there have been, games that I love the morality system, which, can be kind of trivial, in video games, like Red Dead, of like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I always like. If you shoot someone that's bad, you don't get any bad morality, but if you loot their corpse, you do. And I'm always like, I'm getting bad morality for that. Like, I took $2 off this body of a bandit that I just killed, and I don't know. So the morality can be funny, but I also like my favorite franchise is the Fable franchise. I don't know if you've ever played those games.
I haven't, but I'm interested in playing the new one.
The new one is supposed to be unbelievable. I'm like nerding out on the new one coming out. I think it's like October-ish. But there's 3 Fable games, and they were like one of the early ones where your character can be good or bad depending on the choices you make, and people react to you, right? And it physically changes your body. So like you start to look sinister if you keep doing, if you keep murdering civilians, you start to like people like run away when you show up. And so I do think it's an interesting, like we're dealing with big morality, ethical things in almost a more lighthearted, accessible way. But you've shared that like the game explores the moral psychology of revenge and forgiveness, which obviously are opposite, polar opposite ends of that spectrum with radically different outcomes. What have you learned about those through this game and through, participating in the game in that way?
On specifically revenge and forgiveness? Yeah, so forgiveness is often a process, because Ellie says in one of the flashback scenes to Joel, I want to, like, what does she say? I want to forgive you. Or I hope someday that I will. So it's like I would like to do this, and so that already is the part of the process. Like it's almost like Ellie knew she was going to eventually be able to forgive Joel for something. I really want people to play this, or at least watch the television show, which is a fair adaptation of it, but it's at least worth it. So I don't want to spoil it, but like, it's like she was already in the process of forgiveness. And I think what she would realize is that the forgiveness is not necessarily for the other person. The forgiveness is for herself. And what really struck me in terms of revenge is that at the end of it, because the Abby, the enemy of Ellie, she gets revenge for something that had happened and then loses everything. So revenge seems like a default programming when someone wrongs us, tit for tat, right? Like quid pro quo. In the Bible, it's like early on in Genesis, if, Lamech is hit by a boy, and if it's his vengeance was 70 times 7. So obviously he's going to kill this guy. That doesn't actually bring back the thing that you lost.
Yeah.
And of course we know that without the video game, right? Like we know that by experience, but like it really emphasizes that, like, not only do you lose yourself, but even if you're successful, you win, you get your vengeance, the thing that you lost is still gone. It's still gone. And so revenge is not part of the healing process. It's simply not. And forgiveness is, and it's for the person forgiving, because forgiveness and reconciliation are two entirely different things.
Yeah, it's interesting. You see these play out and in this story in a big way, and then yet you realize these are the options we have every day to the things that people do to us, where I can choose to try to reconcile, I can choose to try to forgive you, I can choose to try to move on, or I can just get bitter and like, no, I'm going to make you pay for whatever you did to me. And they're very different roads to walk down. And sometimes I think it's helpful to see it play out in a story where you're like, oh, that road doesn't deliver. Because I think like most movies, especially, and probably most video games, I mean, it's a revenge story, right? Because that's like that's the standard. Somebody's wronged, and then we're gonna watch them make it right the rest of the movie. It's it's the John Wick, like something was done, and then this badass is gonna go make it right, and we get to enjoy vicariously this sense of revenge. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Pig, but it's Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
phenomenal. I love this, and it's like the antithesis to John Wick. Like same kind of setup, but then he handles it like the opposite way that John Wick would ever have handled it. And it's one of the most beautiful stories to me because, like the John Wick thing, it's like, that's in Hollywood. Like you don't solve your problems by just mowing everybody down and going through everybody. Like that doesn't bring anything back. You have no sense of closure over that. But stories like Pig show you like, oh, if you actually appeal to other people's humanity and your humanity, even when you're wronged, like that allows a different outcome. And so I do think it's interesting in some of these stories to see it play out and then go, oh yeah, that's not actually what I want to do.
Yeah. And it's, it makes me like, I don't want to like totally gas them up, but it makes me like really praise Naughty Dog for taking the risk, especially in part 2, where you do play a lot of the game and you're like, all of this, even like with the way it ends, you're like, oh, so all of this was pointless. You're like, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, and that's the risk you take. Like, how could you create a video game where at the end of it, you're like, that was pointless. I had fun and it helped playing, like the actual mechanics, super fun. Like, I think it's one of the most like, when you play a video game and you feel like you're not on the ground, you're like an inch off the ground. This game is very grounded. Everything has weight. And so that's what makes the game super fun. Like, it responds in a way that like, oh, I want them to move like this, and you're able to, and like there's weight to the game. So that is fun. But then as far as the story goes, you're like, oh, so I didn't have to do it. Like I not only didn't have to do that, but shouldn't have done any of that. I shouldn't have, because that's the point, right? Like this is futile. It's futile. Like what happened, and going to make it right is not. That's not a possibility. There's no making it right. It's done. Like you're not undoing that which was done. That's a risk to take in video gaming, though. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let's go spend $100 million and make that. It's like, and they did, so, and it works.
Do you find yourself, I mean, I would imagine so, thinking about stuff from the game just in real life? Like something happens and it brings like a scene to mind or something?
All the time. Yeah. There's between Lord of the Rings and between Lord of the Rings and Stardew Valley, another video game, which if you're into cozy gaming, it's the greatest. It's a farming simulator. I'm a farmer. I've basically modeled my farm after Stardew Valley. So, which
really?
Yeah. We're doing a lot. Yeah. I mean, not modeled in terms of like how it looks. It's like a 32-bit video game, but like, yeah, kind of like, yeah. But yeah, every time I see a giraffe, giraffes have become my favorite animal. Next to the chicken, because I raise chickens. I love chickens. Yeah, every time I see mushrooms, I think of in some way, I think of Last of Us, because the whole premise is a real mushroom, cordyceps. It's a science fiction take on what happens if cordyceps, which does what it does in the game to ants in real life, like it'll take over their brain and force them to behave in a certain way, and then stalks will come out and it'll draw the other ants and they'll get infected, and that's how it continues the cycle. It basically controls the mind of it. So it takes that and puts it into human. Every time I see mushrooms, yeah, there's so many things, like dates. The reason the book comes out on April 28th is because that's the day that Ellie gives Joel a certain picture. And then there's the giraffe scene, which is famous in Last of Us, where it's like, it's like if you took like the craziest progressive metalcore, whatever, and then you had like a 5-minute interlude of the most beautiful music you've ever heard. That's the giraffe scene. It's so striking, and it, like the first time you watch it, you're just like crying. You're like, this is beautiful. Like, so giraffes for me, like I've got giraffes in my office, little things here and there, have just become like my favorite animal. I think they're fascinating.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it. That's a good story, is when it lives rent free in your head.
Totally. And it's yeah. Most things that live rent free in your head aren't positive, but I feel like that's positive.
I like it. That's awesome. Well,
yeah,
I think you've made a good case for it. Let's switch gears. I want to ask you some questions that I like to ask each of our guests, and we get to compare your answers and your perspective to everyone else.
I love it.
We'll start with wine. With the wine question.
Okay.
If I were to ask you, what's the greatest glass of wine you've ever had in your life?
Oh, jeez.
Is there a story that comes to your mind? And we'd love to know, is it because of who you were with, where you were, what you were drinking? Anything that comes to mind, what was the greatest glass of wine you can ever remember?
So I don't know what I was drinking, and it's not because it wasn't a particularly expensive bottle of wine. It was at a bed and breakfast in Napa, of course. I live in Northern California, and my wife and I were there, and it was a bunch of people. I mean, Napa's very wealthy, and you could tell it was like a bunch of wealthy people, and then it was us. And they decided to open up. It was probably like $100 and some odd bottle of wine, which is not anything we would ever buy. And so it wasn't the wine. I can't remember. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, that much. I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell between that and a $20 bottle of wine probably, but just the memory of like, and it was such like, it was so fun. Like the people were like way down to earth, even though you knew they were like in a different wealth class than you were. We had such a good time, and I'm not like, my wife and I were there. It was like in the basement of this Airbnb. It was like this cool basement area. And we just hung out, and normally I'm not that social, but like this was super fun. So that always stands out. It was like one of our anniversaries not early on in our marriage, but like I think before, maybe right when we had our daughter. So it was like 15 years ago, maybe an early getaway, something like that for like a night. And just being able to be like, pretend we were bougie, was super fun, but they were all cool. So it was actually fun. It wasn't like, they weren't snobs and we were just trying to observe. It was like they were actually just down to earth people who happen to like really expensive wine and happen to have money. So that stands out to me.
Those are good people to be around.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Which member of church history would you trust to pick out a bottle of wine for you? And who would you not trust and why?
Oh gosh. I would trust Francis of Assisi.
Okay.
I feel like he would know where the grapes were grown, like what methods were used in the soil and all. He would be able to tell me about the whole ecology of it, what the farm is like. They're like, maybe it's a regenerative farm. He probably wouldn't have that language back then, but now if it was like modern Assisi, I would not. I feel like I want to say Calvin, but that's an easy answer. I want to go I feel like Tertullian might slip something in there. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't need to trust this guy.
He slipped something in there. That's
I don't like
amazing.
Tertullian. I'm not trying to defame his character. Don't come back from the dead and sue me. But I don't have much respect for Tertullian. How about you? Who are your guys? Or gals?
I think Augustine will probably be top of my list of who I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any bottle from you and your theology. I always like this question because it takes, whose theology you like and then applies it in a totally funky way of they're picking wine out for you, which shouldn't have anything to do with their theology, but it totally does.
It totally might.
I'm not drinking that if you pick that bottle.
Yeah. Well, Calvin would only take the elect grapes.
See, here's what's interesting though. Calvin was a wine guy, and he was French. So even though Calvin comes up regularly in this question, because theologically, I don't resonate with Calvin at all. From a wine point of view, probably would have liked the guy.
He was probably
legit and probably would have been a solid pick. But if we just go theologically, you never get there. So that's why it's appealing to our greater humanity, Matt.
Right. And Luther was a beer guy, right?
Luther was a beer guy. So Luther's a guy theologically I probably wouldn't have loved.
Yeah.
But alcohol-wise, probably knew what he was doing and could be solid with it.
Okay.
So there you go. Question gets you just to think, about the categories we put people in. Okay, what's something you used to believe that it turned out later you were wrong about?
Where do I start? Pick one of them. I used to believe in the rapture. I used to believe as a child that the earth was only 10,000 years old.
Yeah.
I got rid of that one pretty quick though.
I was 6,000. I was the purist.
Well, I was a heretic then from early days. But I felt like those the rapture stuck around for a while, but those other ones 10,000 years old. And then I was like, then I took science in elementary school, and I was like, oh, probably not.
In elementary school,
I took science, just
as your elective.
Yeah, as my elective. I'll take science, please. We don't do that in the church. Yeah.
Did you change your mind on those in elementary school? Because it took me a lot longer.
Not rapture. Rapture was like late high school, early college, but no, the early, the young Earth stuff and the Bible, the inerrant Bible, pretty early on. But the hell stuff and the scary stuff stayed with me for a while. Like the really scary stuff, like the Earth being 10,000 years old. That's not scary. It's silly, but it's not scary. But yeah, the hell and the rapture. Those are the two big ones.
Why do you think that one or those two took you longer?
I feel like those ones make sense to some part of us. Like there are bad people and they deserve to be punished. The rapture, because I honestly think the people who taught me Christianity did not teach me Christian history. If I would have known that this was like a doctrine developed in the 1800s and that it's like a small I just assumed all Christians believed it. I would have believed. I thought. I guess Catholics believed it, and it's like no, they don't believe in that stuff. Or Orthodox, so I think because I was just ignorant to what Christians actually believed, and it was probably like this for you in your church. Like you were taught right doctrine, you weren't taught the history of Christian theology.
Well, and I was never given options of hey, Christians have landed here, or here, right?
Go pick one.
Well, yeah,
Like,
or go research them, like understand when each of them, because like the rapture is what, 1823 or 33, I don't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's like this is recent history. I mean, this is crazy recent, and it's like left behind though. It's like no, that's fan fiction. I mean, this is not theology.
And bad fan fiction too. It's like
bad fan fiction.
Bad, yeah.
Yes, very bad. What do you see as the main issue facing Christianity in the U.S. today?
The main one? Okay, let me get I guess meta, right? The idea that a Christian should have any power. That's not Jesus. Jesus was not interested in any power. So the idea that a nation can be Christian is ridiculous. The idea that you should have any any power. Power is not something that Jesus was interested in the traditional understanding of power. Power is found in powerlessness. And so I think if they understood power, their theology would start. This is probably Luther, actually. The theology would start, and I don't love Luther, but power starts at the foot of the cross, a theology of below, rather than a theology of above. Power needs to be flipped on its head. You find power in only serving others. So that would solve the ability for the Pete Hegseths and the Kash Patels or whoever to use religion to wield as a tool of power. It wouldn't work because Christians would be like, well, that's literally by definition not what our religion can do. You got the wrong guy.
It's very Anabaptist of you.
Well, probably, yeah, in terms of that, right? I definitely have a lot of respect for the Anabaptists. There's a lot of, I think all the the Mennonites come from that tradition, right? The Amish. We have a lot of Mennonites here in Northern California.
Yeah, I speak at a Mennonite church twice a month now.
Yeah, they're all lovely people. A lot of the farmers actually that I know from the farmers market, a lot of them are Mennonite.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're like the new school ones, right? They're the because I've actually been back in Pennsylvania a lot, 3 or 4 times, and got to drive around and get little history lessons on the old order Mennonites versus and the old order Amish, and some of them can they have to use scooters because a bicycle can be considered power. You could pick up momentum or something. So some of them have to use scooters, some of them can use bikes, and
oh wow.
Some the different wagons, some of them are, if they're covered, that means they're married. You can't be unmarried with a covered wagon. It has to be an uncovered wagon. It's it's wild.
So that's hardcore. The way because I've I come from mainstream megachurch evangelical, and have I don't resonate with that tribe, trying to find other tribes, and have actually really loved the Mennonites, but it's not what you're describing. That's not.
No, that's the old order stuff. Yeah.
The way I describe, because people are like, Mennonites, what is that? And I'm like, all right, so imagine the Anabaptist is like a spectrum. The Mennonites are the progressive Anabaptists. It's kind of that's my way. They probably plenty of people would say it's not accurate, but that's the way I've made sense of it. Because you have the Amish are much more on the conservative end, kind of stereotypically. But yeah, the whole issue with power is fascinating as we're watching Christendom erode around us, right? Where power has been the default setting for 1700 years, and now it's starting to, all the cracks are showing where it's oh, this isn't what we thought it was. It's how do we exist with power in a completely different way? I think is a fascinating conversation.
Yeah. I think it would change how we viewed the intersection of politics and faith and culture and all that. Yeah, I mean, some of these Christians are just if you got the good stuff, you don't have to try that hard. Like, let people live. They'll come to you if you got that good stuff. And it's like, no, you got the gospel being like beat over the head with people doesn't make sense. Like, it's good news. You don't have to convince them of it.
Well,
Right?
yeah, if I have to scare you with hell to get you to agree with me, my view of Jesus probably isn't that good.
It's probably not great.
If the only reason people would want it because they don't want to burn, you're not offering something really compelling. So
not really
worth examining. What is something blowing your mind right now that you're learning?
Do you want to go optimistic or pessimistic?
Let's go optimistic.
Okay.
We'll keep it upbeat.
Keep it upbeat. My daughter has gotten into, she for a long time wanted to be a marine biologist, and now she's like talking about space a lot. And I think just like learning about, like just learning factoids about the universe and just the, it's blowing my mind how little can be known by humanity at this current state. Like, it blows my mind like how vast the universe is. The one thing specifically that I can't wrap my mind around is that the expansion of the universe implies expanding into something in my mind. And so like, what does that mean? Right? Like,
what was there before that is going into?
Yeah. Like, okay, so we're here. What's here?
Yeah.
Right. Like, another thing, totally randomly, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but like some people, I mean, like people who are blind don't see black. This is not related to space. They see the same thing you see out of your elbow. And that was how it was described to me. And I couldn't experientially understand what that meant. Blew my mind.
Okay. What?
I think so. Someone born blind, like you see black, right? You close your eyes, and if it's pitch black, you see black, right?
Okay, yeah.
That's not what someone born blind experiences. They experience the same thing, like that you would experience the vision from a non-vision entity, a non-vision appendage or something.
So you're saying they see nothing?
Nothing.
No,
they don't see black. They see nothing. I couldn't understand. I didn't.
Wow, this is some deep thoughts.
Well, even if it's not like a blind person, just think of like a living being that doesn't see anything. Like, what is that experience like? I don't know.
This is interesting. Like, one of the things I do sometimes on like wine experiences with people is I'll ask them to like describe the color yellow to someone who's blind.
Yeah,
and you realize how hard that is.
It's impossible.
How would you describe this to someone who's never seen colors, never seen the color yellow? Mm-hmm. And it gets you to start thinking about your senses differently, right? Like, how do you perceive anything? So yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that, but the elbow thing.
No, it's the same. It's the same premise. Like, it's like describe the taste of yellow. It's like, well, that's like this, right? Like, that's what. How could someone is like. Your eyes don't go away when you close your eyes, right? Like you're seeing the back of your eyelids without much light coming through, or any light if you're in a perfectly dark room.
Well, like when people answer this, they usually will talk about the sun. Like, well, it's like the sun's, and I'm like, but they've never seen the sun.
They've never seen it.
So how do you describe the sun to some? Like, you would describe, maybe you felt the heat of the sun, or you know what I mean? Like, you have to use other senses. Because you can't use the way you think about it. So it is. Yeah. You know, and going back to space, you know, the thing that I've mentioned this before, the thing that boggles my mind with all the scientific stuff we've got, and I mean, quantum, theory, and all, I mean, stuff that's like amazing that we can figure out. The majority of the universe we just call dark matter or dark energy, and we don't know what it is.
Yeah,
we don't know what it is.
It's a big percentage. Just chalk it up to dark energy or dark matter.
Like, yeah, it's dark matter. We don't really know it. And I'm like, the majority of what's out there, we don't know what it is. Yeah. It's dark matter. Well, that's the label we call it because we don't really know what it is. I'm like, that's wild.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
I mean, we're like mapping the brain and doing some cool things, and we don't like the majority of what's out there. We're like, I don't know what this is.
Same with the ocean though too. The ocean trips me out. I think more than the maybe not more than space, but it trips me out to think about. It gives me the I don't like it. Like that Titan. I was like, you'll never see me down there dying of that. Like, that's never gonna happen to me.
You're not gonna die in a submarine.
Not unless someone shoved me in there and made me go in. That's the only submarine I go in is the Nemo ride at Disneyland.
I hate the Nemo ride.
Same here, but
think's terrible.
I don't like it, but I'll go in it if I have to. But I'm not going
that's
down
amazing.
any depths. I'm not scuba. I'm not doing nothing. No. The ocean is scary, dude.
He's got a fear of the ocean. Duly noted.
Oh, you know what else blows my mind before we move on to the next one or whatever you're doing? You know those in Nemo, that fish with the light?
Yeah, anglerfish.
The anglerfish can fit in your hand.
Dude, that one that died blew my mind recently.
I lived my whole life thinking it was this massive thing that I got to be afraid of somehow.
I'm 100% with you. And my wife was like, "Oh, I'm so sad about this anglerfish died." I'm like, "Those things are nasty, ugly." She's like, "No, it's cute." I'm like, "It's not cute." Then she showed me the size of it. I'm like, "Wait, that is that fish?" Like, it totally is not what I ever imagined.
Which actually makes sense. Being that deep, you're not gonna have this huge animal. Like,
it's a cute little thing, man.
Yeah, poor little anglerfish got a bad rap.
Yeah, he did. Man, I feel bad about how we hated on it.
Hey, totally hated on it for my whole life.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, what's something you're excited about right now?
My farm. Yeah, we just planted
Valley.
Stardew Valley in real life. It's called Happy Woods Farm. We just planted 30 fruit trees. We have 48 now, and
this is our trees.
We've got various plums, peaches, nectarines, pear, olive, pomegranate, almond, or almond as they say out here. I'm missing some apple.
Wow.
Yeah, we're doing that.
You got a ton.
We got a whole farm. Yeah, Farmer Matt. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Is this like you're working at sunrise out there on the farm type deal, or?
Depends on the day. Yeah. So I've got choir and I've got the farm, and then I've got I'm working with a sourdough company as well.
When you've got spare time?
When I've got spare time. When I'm living my real Stardew Valley life. I'm excited that this is the end of the dance season. All the competitions are done, and my daughter has 2 more. She's not going to dance as a senior, she says. So she's going to dance as a sophomore and a junior. And then it's exciting to watch them dance, but it's also exciting to be done with the season because they're long.
Yeah. And we've got 3 nights of the week. We have regular dance things, and that's not when they have performances, right? So then it's like we have a performance on Saturday, and it's like.
Yeah. How old is your daughter that dances? How long
she's
you been
13.
in it? Okay.
So she's in 8th grade and does club dance, does school dance. I mean, it's like,
yeah.
And this is a racket. These guys have got to be raking in the money.
Oh,
I'm in the wrong line of work because
it's wild.
I look at how this business model works and I'm like, you guys have got to be rolling in the dough.
I mean, yeah, you could do like, I think the other day it was like, oh, our daughter's going to do an intensive in the summer for one day. It was like $400 for a day, one day. Like, how many kids are showing up to that? I'm pretty good at math. Like, woo, shit.
Well, yeah, she's like, yeah, if I want to do a solo dance, I can try out for a solo dance, and then at this thing, and then it's $800 to do. I'm like, what to add on to what we're all, it's like it just keeps stacking. It's like, gosh.
So I need everyone to buy 5 copies of my book.
Support Matt's
dance
daughter's
fund.
dance career.
Yes, please.
By buying his book.
I bought a lot of copies of my book.
All right, we've covered a lot. Is there anything that we have omitted that you're like, look, we got to talk about this real quick before we wrap up this episode, otherwise it wouldn't be complete?
Are you wearing that hat because you like it or because you're a Yankees fan?
I like it because I'm a Yankees fan.
Oh, I'm a Red Sox fan, so I'm glad that we could show the world that that we can come together in unity even though we are diametrically opposed to each other.
We are, yeah.
And I have a good friend who's an Arsenal fan, and I'm a Tottenham fan, and they're going to probably win the league, and we're probably going to get relegated.
Right now, the Yankees are playing the Red Sox in a series.
Oh. The Red Sox kind of suck, I heard.
Yeah, they're not good this year. And I'll be in Boston next week, and I will not be bringing any of my Yankee gear.
9-15. God, the Red Sox are terrible.
Yeah, they're bad. It's not been a great season. But I almost got beat up by a woman when I was in Boston the last time. So I'm not going to bring my Yankee gear this time.
Just because you had Yankee stuff on?
Mm-hmm.
They take it seriously. I lived in Providence, which is kind of in between. You get a lot of Red Sox fans, but you still get a lot of Yankees fans. And I've always liked sports, but I've never been serious. Like I take them semi-seriously when I'm into them. And I just like, it's like a religion in some places. Like it's like serious business.
Well, that's what I realized. Like for me, this is like a hobby. I enjoy watching the Yankees. I enjoy the history. I enjoy whatever. But I was like, oh, this lady wants to fight me. This is something different for her.
Like it is something, yeah. And I've never been like a hater on other teams. Like even the rival teams, I don't care like I've always thought it was weird. Like I'm like, well, shouldn't you just care about what your team's doing? Like if you guys, like if the Red Sox don't win the World Series, I'm not going to be like, oh shoot, the Dodgers won again. Like it's probably not great for baseball, but like whatever. Like,
see, to me, the rivalry is fun, and I actually use this analogy to explain, like the Samaritans, right, with the Jews of like they were hated, but they're actually pretty similar if you look at what they believe. Like to me, I can look at a Red Sox fan and go like, oh, you're the enemy, but you're also a baseball fan, right? So like I have more in common with a Red Sox fan than I do with someone who only watches football.
That's true.
So you may not be my enemy, right? But like you're watching a whole different sport. Like I actually have more in common with the Red Sox fan.
When you, if you're really into something, wouldn't you want rivalries? Doesn't that make the game better?
It makes it more fun. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you take it so seriously that you're going to beat someone up, you're not having fun anymore. You miss the whole point.
You know what, Matt?
Like people have been killed, like LA Dodgers and San Francisco Giants. Like they have a big rivalry, California, and there's been people killed. Like what? These players get traded from one to the other. I remember when Johnny Damon went to the Yankees, I was like, they don't have the same allegiances that we do.
I can't remember which comedian it was, but they were like breaking this down. They're like, so let's say you have a star player and then they get to their team. Now you don't trade. They're like, you're essentially rooting on a jersey. You are cheering for a jersey. That's all you're cheering for. Like
that's all you're doing.
Doesn't matter who's in it. You're cheering for a piece of a uniform.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a funny way of like how at the end of the day, it's like, yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Wild. Well, I forgive you for being a Yankees fan, and you can
Jesus has brought us together.
Jesus has. Only Jesus could have done this.
Well, hey, this has been a fascinating conversation. I think I might go play this video game. I'm not normally an apocalyptic guy because I feel like my life feels apocalyptic enough already, but I'm kind of intrigued, and I want to see how I respond to the intro, the way you described it. I think it sounds super interesting. So thanks for the conversation. Thanks for going wherever you need to go, whether it's theology or video games or Tolkien or whatever, and just kind of living out your faith in that way. And thanks for spending some time on Cabernet and Pray with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody. You can go out and buy Matt's book, support his daughter's dance career, and go check out the video game for yourself and maybe develop a little bit more empathy in the process. We'll see you all in the next episode of Cabernet and Pray.